Okay, so we were in Thailand for 87 days, and I'm going to go ahead and do a clip show and just show highlights of different places that we went that I liked, and just a summary of some of the things that we did. I'm going to skip a few of the places that we went. Well, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll show them and say why I didn't like them or why I wouldn't go back or whatever. But overall, nothing unbelievably horrible happened or anything. I definitely enjoyed traveling in Thailand, and if anybody ever had the means of about $700 a month, you could probably afford to live pretty dang nice there. I think we did it for like $1,000 a month, and it's two of us, and we traveled around quite a bit, and had not we didn't live out of our means, but we did have motorbikes often, and sometimes we ate at kind of expensive places. So it can be done cheap. So if you're interested in that, this is your place. Bangkok. Of those 87 days, we spent around 31 of them in Bangkok itself. When we arrived in Thailand, we were looking through trying to find a place to stay, and for a guest house that was reasonably priced, and we ended up just getting off of the SkyTrain and wandering around and finding an apartment, and we said screw it. So we rented an apartment and we stayed there for an entire month. The apartment was really, really, really nice, and it was definitely a highlight of the trip, having a place to just go back to and almost feel like you had a place to live. It was just incredible. The neighborhood was nice. There was a lot of foreigners there. It's in the Sukhumvit area, and really safe, and it just had a good feel to it in general. Other things about Bangkok besides the apartment that we really enjoyed was got a chance to get a grasp of the language to a certain degree. A lot of the food and the transportation system there in Bangkok. There's so many different ways to get around. There's klung boats in the canals and a big river boat system that goes up and down the main river, and the SkyTrain, which is like it's like a metro system. It's in the sky, a train in the sky, duh. And then there's an underground metro system, and then you have taxis and motorcycle taxis and tuk-tuks to avoid. And I mean, there's just so much to do, and each neighborhood in Bangkok has an extremely distinct feel. So it's a really cool place to spend a lot of time. Honestly, I could have probably spent 3 weeks there instead of 4 weeks and been happy, but whatever. We don't really have a timeline on our travel, so it really didn't make much of a difference. Let's see, I've got notes down here. So while we were there, there was a international movie festival, and we saw a bunch of films there for really cheap in these amazing movie theaters that they have, and that was really, really cool. Of the touristy stuff in Bangkok that I thought was really good, the Grand Palace is really cool, but what's really amazing is the mural that runs all the way around the interior. It's just completely incredible, the amount of detail that they've got painted there and stuff. Just seeing that. Most of the time, things like that don't really like blow me away, but that was really, really cool. The other our favorite ruin or temple or whatever that was there is easily Wateraan, and I know that's kind of a cop out because that tends to be a pretty popular place for people to go, but it really was cool getting to climb up on it, and you actually get to interact with it. Laying down in front of it and looking up at it was just awesome too. We met another fellow who's from Singapore, laid down next to us to stare up at this thing, and we had dinner with him, and it was a pretty cool night. I would never go to the scary museum that Katie drug me to again, with all the dead people and dead babies in jars and stuff. That was a bit much. And let's see. Science Museum. It's incredible. After we left Bangkok, we went to Ayutthaya, and it's like the old capital of Thailand, like way back in the day. And it's got a lot of ruins and stuff, and it's really cool. It's got a pretty cool atmosphere. We got some mountain bikes, little city bikes. And we just pedaled around, and it's small enough area you can get around the whole area just, on a bike in a day or two easily. And it was just cool to go, and again, it had some ruins that you could climb up in, and you could be, a part of. You could touch them, you could get on them, you could go down inside of them, and that was a pretty cool place. The guest house we stayed at, I think, was called Banar Gong, and it was right on the river. And it was a really cool place. You could sit there, and you could have some food or just talk with other people that were traveling. It was just a really cool atmosphere with these giant, the giant barges pulling up and down the river. It was very, very cool. Don't know if I'd ever really feel the need to go back to Ayutthaya, but I'm glad I went. Kanchanaburi. We spent just a day or two there, but it's near this national park where they have this thing called the Seven Steps Waterfall, where you climb up this giant waterfall. It takes like an hour, hour and a half, and it's a pretty strenuous hike. But once you get to the top, it's totally worth it. And then working your way back down is pretty good because downhill is better than uphill, right? Um, that park was just incredible. It really, really was. The waterfall was amazing. Swimming in it and it's coming down on top of you and feeling like this waterfall pounding down on your shoulders was pretty memorable. I would definitely go back. Kanchanaburi itself, you know, it had this. We got a motorbike there. That was the first time we got a motorbike, and I remember riding out down through these hills, and there's outside of the town. There's this huge temple, and it just kind of looms on this mountain as you come around, and it's just very, very stunning to see. And then when you get to it, you get to go all the way up this hill, and there's this gigantic Buddha, like the biggest Buddha next to the one on Phuket, I think, that we've ever come across. And just being up on that mountain and riding the motorbike up there and stuff was very, very, very cool. And if you ever make it to Kanchanaburi for any reason, definitely hit the waterfall. Definitely get a motorbike and just randomly explore, because that's the best way to get anywhere. Chiang Mai. Everybody that travels, all these backpackers, they think Chiang Mai is like some holy grail, and we never really got that. It's an okay place, and the only reason that I would say that Chiang Mai was really cool, the city's layout is neat. It's like a square, and when you're riding a motorbike and just around it, it's cool for navigation, just the way that the internals of the city are laid out. But other than that, like the city itself, really, it's just a lot of white people wandering around, and there's like a million bookshops, which is kind of convenient, but that's not why I'm traveling. We got a motorbike, and it's okay. It was okay to motorbike around there, but of all the places we've gone and had the opportunity to ride a bike around, it was probably the most boring. The things about Chiang Mai that were cool is they have a really good elephant trekking place, and that's where we went, and we did the super uber touristy thing and rented got some elephants for the day instead of a motorbike, and it was amazing. I mean, it really was. It was just completely incredible to do, and to spend the day on the animals and just learning about their dispositions, and it was just unbelievable. It's definitely something that you would never get to do in the States or any normal Western country. It would be so watered down, and they'd be so worried about you getting hurt that it would be lame. So getting to do that here was really amazing, and you could tell that the elephants are actually treated well there. We did a little bit of research before we picked a place to go. We didn't want to go someplace and provide for somebody that was like beating their elephants or some nonsense. So it was as guilt-free as possible. The other thing that was awesome about Chiang Mai was just timing, because we got to go to that's when they had Loy Krathong, and that's where if you saw the videos, is where we light those lanterns and they go up in the sky. And that is a pretty intense experience in itself. It's celebrated all over the country, but Chiang Mai is apparently like the capital, like the big where the big deal is. And it's just a crazy experience. Never have I been around such a strange atmosphere of excessive like partying and like danger at the same time. And it was a cool feeling. So Chiang Mai itself, whatever. I could take it or leave it. But those two activities that happen to take place in Chiang Mai, completely amazing.